Hello YouTube vintage stereo restorers and collectors. You're probably wondering, what is this hunk of junk? Well, let's turn it around. This is a thrift store find. And I actually have someone in mind for this one. It's an RCA AM/FM stereo receiver, and it came with two little speakers. And I picked it up because, first of all, it was really cheap. It was 10 bucks. And it was in pretty nice shape. It has a very nice walnut sleeve, hardly a mark on it. The little speakers look nice, although neither of them play. And they're both open. And so I took a little look, in the light, and the speaker drivers are gone. It looks like there's a 5 1/4 in there. I don't know. It works with the headphone jack though. And it's an interesting piece. It's got a model number 3400 on it, which I can't find anything about it. But I do know something about it. Many years ago, when I worked at K-Mart as a young guy, 2 summers at K-Mart, there was this unit. And I'm talking like 79, 80, 80, 81. And these were around, so it's not exactly, it's not early 70s, it's late 70s, but it's actually built very nicely. So I want to call this my junk very cheap series, because every once in a while you find stuff. I like cheap audio, okay? It's always been this thing with me. It goes back many years to finding stuff like for free in the garbage or whatever. And then I know some people look at this video and go, yeah, right, but it's actually fairly well built. And what I'm hearing so far on the headphones on the FM is really good. Well, the controls are a bit crackly. First of all, steel chassis, like galvanized steel chassis. Not the biggest transformer. This is the AM/FM switching board, and it's an Alps tuning capacitor. It's full of Alps parts. Alps headphone jack, Alps volume control. It's got there's the outputs, so they are heat sinked. They're round metal transistors, hasn't been apart. Quasi complementary. I don't know what transistor it is, but it's capacitor coupled. There's caps on the outside board, which I'll show you in a second. It's got these switches feel really nice, like they're smooth and tight, a little crackly. It's got these very Kenwoodish. Anyway, I'm just gonna show you the underneath. Oh, this is what okay, I'm taking this off anyway. The bulb is out. This cardboard piece was keeping the light out. The stereo pilot works. Yeah, see there's a bulb under there? Yeah. So let's just flip it on here. You can have a good look at it. That noise outside are the landscaping crew cleaning up leaves. And their specialty, I'm sorry, I'm a little cranky this morning. I'm looking out the front window with my coffee a few minutes ago, and the guy is blowing leaves in up the driveway and up against the front door, and then walks away. And I'm like, haven't you been trained? I did a lot of landscaping as a young guy. Boss wouldn't have let that happen. Anyway, let's get back to this. So they're all Alps controls, Alps switches. Fairly decent power supply, two 1500 microfarad caps. Over here is basically, it's full. They're not Elna, they're Tracon, and they're different names on them, but they look like Elna caps. Mainly NPN silicon transistors, from what I can tell. Say there's no documentation on this. The tuner board, I mean, it's a tuner board. It's no ICs in it, all solid state. It's got the small tuning cores, which tend to outlast the bigger aluminum ones. They're not as fragile, so that's good. And I was listening to FM on it. It's got great stereo. Actually, I'm not kidding you. What was on it, on this 300 ohm connection in the back, was a matching transformer. So this would have been hooked up to cable one time to 75 ohm. That's all that was on it when I first tested it. And I was getting stations all over the dial. Then I clipped a longer antenna on it. It's picking up every station that my Sensui TU717 gets with the same length of wire. And you might think, oh, okay, big deal. It's actually quite an excellent tuner in it. And it has fidelity, and it's fairly quiet between stations. No idea who built these boards. There's UEC on there and a part number on most of them. It's interesting how the parts are pointing down. But what I'm going to do is I'm just do a little cleaning up, spray everything, and see how well it plays. If it plays fairly well, I've got a person that'd be interested in having this as a stereo to listen to. I'll put some drivers in those little enclosures, and 30-40 bucks for a stereo. And it also has a phono input, but it's not magnetic, it's line level. But that you could easily put, like, run your phone through it. So it's a headphone amp. See what kind of fidelity it has. I'm going to go through. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but hey, if you want to watch me do it. So a little Neutral 401B, just what the doctor ordered. Maybe we should just put it completely upside down. That would be the way. Yeah. I like stuff where you can actually get at the controls. I was doing, what was it, an SX434 recently? It was so hard to get at those controls. This one, piece of cake. Yeah. Volume control with a power switch on it. Oh, there's no, like, it's tight, no wear. And then that's going to be, what's that, the balance? And there's no hole in it. This is the balance. You need to maybe get it from underneath. That's why I bend the tip of this around. This is starting to look funny. Something caught in here too. What is this? Maybe separating the volume control contacts. I'm going to have to get that one another way. It'll do the bass and treble. Don't get too near this stuff. You don't want it in the eye. It will shoot out a little bit. You go through the hole in the top or get it from the board side. Depends the way it's mounted, right? Oh, those are just, those two were really tight. It's like they hardly ever turned. Let's just get back to this. So these controls here, let's give them a shot. They're open, they're not sealed, so bloop. That one is just a dummy like me. And those. I noticed a little bit of noise on the mono stereo switch. I believe it's that one. You can see a bit of oxide on the leads that aren't connected. Okay, let's do a super curve. What we're going to do is we're going to bend the stick down and around as much as we can. There we go. Oh, that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah. Let's see if they're quiet now. I'm just gonna plug it in. Make sure you can see it. I don't even have, there's the antenna, that little length of 300 ohm in there. quiet. A little bit of noise on that one. Wow, it has such good FM. I find it's a lot of these cheap receivers. It's just clean FM. And I'm not getting any interference from my modem on this one. One thing I noticed is the bass and treble controls really mean you turn the bass up, it's a lot. It's almost overpowering. Same with the treble. These are quiet now, these switches. As AFC, AM, F, mono, stereo, phono. So it actually is working fairly decently. I don't get a new light in there, light up the dial. I don't think anything's overheating. Ice cold. I don't think this makes enough power to make even the heatsink warm. Yeah, it's pretty basic. Anything past half volume though on the headphones doesn't sound that great. A little bit of grunge on there. I'm going to clean this plate. Is that plastic or metal? Yeah, it's plastic. Should clean up fairly well. Recap it. Not likely at this dollar level, although these are definitely from the late 70s at least. What I found in lower end stuff of that time is you got technology that was a little bit older, and I've seen late 70s. It was an AGS amp, stereo receiver, that I was messing around with a few months ago. It actually was transformer coupled with germanium outputs, but it was made in 78. There must have been some left over, right? Yeah, so I wouldn't even consider these. I might let it run a while and see if it actually gets warm. But that's about it for now. I could do a video maybe on changing this light. Oh, I think there's two of them in there. Interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.